What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of Supercross Showdown, brought to you by Monster Energy, Total Control Racing Suspension, and of course leatt. We had a dope-ass night of racing, starting with the 250 class. Levi Kitchen came out cooking.
I'm making waffles.
He took the whole shot, basically checked out, and we never saw him again. Nobody had anything to offer to put up a fight. I think he won by nearly 20 plus seconds, of which I don't even think anyone has been able to win by such a margin, not even in the 450 class. So big ups to him. I think he's now put a stamp on he is the guy to chase for the championship. RJ had an okay ride. I mean, he just salvaged a second place. He's still kind of in the fight, but he definitely wasn't the old RJ that we've come to see in the past races. Hopefully he can bring it back for this weekend coming. Jordan, on the other hand, had a terrible night. He cross-rutted in the one rhythm section, went down. I think he winded himself because the following lap, he cross-rutted in the same rhythm section. And then when coming back on the track, he just didn't look to see if there were other riders and ended up tagging two of them and lent the bike over again. So he's probably out of the championship. Yeah, I have no idea what was going on there. Sushi, on the other hand, had an okay night actually. He still made some mistakes. The track was extremely tricky. He went down and made his way back to round out the podium in third. So our overall 250 riders was Kitchen first, RJ second, and Sushi rounding out the podium. Moving on to the 450 class, we had an epic race between Chase and Cooper. Chase came out with the whole shot. He had been showing speed all night. He's definitely got his ducks in a row and he's starting to get that same old Chase speed that we've come to see. He did make a few mistakes in the main. He cross-rutted in the same rhythm section that Jordan cross-rutted in. And then I don't know what he did with his bike, but in his heat race, he stalled it. And in the main event, he stalled it. Ultimately, Cooper was able to get by him. Webb doing Webb type things. Literally, we didn't see him the whole night. We didn't talk about him. And then main event time, he's a dog and he's in the fight and chasing Sexton down the whole time. So we're putting in a dope ass ride and Sexton making a few mistakes. I mean, everyone was making a lot of mistakes because the track was really difficult and the ruts were gnarly. As we've seen over the last 3 weeks, the tracks have been super hectic with the ruts and you have to be really on your game and really precise when choosing your lines. Otherwise, it's so easy to make a mistake. And those mistakes ultimately bit Chase. Jet was the same old Jet. He was flying through practice, through heat race, and the main he actually didn't get such a great start, but had all the speed as he usually does, making his way through the pack. And when he caught Cooper into the sand section, and he was actually going wide and jumping the wall. At this particular scenario, he went inside and then didn't slow down and just ended up tagging the back of Webb's bike and kind of high-siding to the right. I think it was a bit of a bonehead move. I think he might have just brain farted or he couldn't get to the brakes, whatever the case may be. He still salvaged third place. So with the 450 podium, we had Webb with the win, Chase in a close second at the finish line, and Jet in third place. Moving on to our predictions for this weekend Supercross, we've got St. Louis, which is a Triple Crown. So we need to take that into account when making our predictions. We didn't do that last time, so best we do that this time around. Let's get into the 250 West picks. Okay, with the 250 West boys, Triple Crown in St. Louis. Levi's won on Triple Crown before. He's in a good headspace. He's asserted his dominance as the main guy. It's obvious Levi's my number one pick. Second, I think it will still be RJ. RJ is gonna go back home, do some work, and bridge that gap back to Kitchen, maybe put up a fight, and he's my second place pick. Third place, I think I'm gonna go with Jordan for third place. Obviously, having a shitty night, he's gonna be looking at getting back on the box. So I think that's a safe pick to put Jordan in third. Fourth, I'm gonna go with Sush. Sush doesn't quite have it. He keeps making mistakes. He hasn't really shown us a really good ride yet. I think it's safe to put Sush in 4th. And my 5th and last pick for the wildcard spot, I'm going to put Marchbanks, because Marchbanks is just a solid top 5, top 10 guy. So that's my 250 predictions for this weekend in St. Louis for the Triple Crown. Don't forget to put your picks in the comments for a chance at winning the leatt helmet. And let's move on to the 450s. This is like literally the hardest predictions every time. But at least number 1, I feel like is easy because Jet's obviously Jet and everyone is chasing the kid's speed. It's always a safe bet to put Jet as our first place pick. Second place, I think I'm going to go with Sexton for my second place, because Sexton has shown that he's found himself again and he's starting to get that speed back, of which he did take a whole shot last weekend. So I think Sexton's going to be my second place pick. Third place, I'm going to go with Cooper. Cooper is a difficult one to predict because he, like this last race, we don't see him the whole weekend and then he goes out and he wins. For my 4th place pick, I think I'm going to go with Eli. Eli really just needs a good start for us to see where he's actually at and not coming back from the back. He's been really good in Triple Crowns before, but I think it's safe to just put him as my 4th place pick. And then rounding out my top 5, I'm going to go with Kenny, because Kenny is always explosive in the beginning and can have an off race here and there. And with it being a Triple Crown, I think 5th is a solid spot for Kenny. So that's my 450 predictions for St. Louis. Don't forget to put your predictions in the comments. And until next week, peace out, Joe.
2, 3, 4.